I'm Alana King, and I'd like to talk to you about nurturing your digital identity. I'm a teacher librarian at Orangeville District Secondary School, and before that, I was an English teacher, a drama teacher, and a media arts teacher. I am motivated to create my digital identity by my need to create in general. I was influenced in the 1970s and 80s by these guys, Three's Company, G-Force, Raggedy Ann and Andy. I had 6 TV channels, and I rented a VCR for my birthdays. And of course, no, there was no internet. But I know that's not true for everyone. There's so many things that make us different from each other when we come to the using technology. Demographics, socioeconomic status. It comes down to who we are as readers, users, and our individual proficiencies with software and hardware. The first digital identity of my son Max was a picture of his pregnancy test, his ultrasound, and those first screaming moments after our emergency C-section. It's so true that for many students, they have a digital identity before they're controlling it. This is a computer similar to the one that I first tested out the internet on. It was in a university lab where we had to wait in line to use a computer for 20 minutes. I emailed this guy, he emailed me back, and I began to use the internet for socializing, which is one of those things that many of us go to online. As we know, it can get quickly out of hand though, whether it's nastiness happening in between text messages, or those accidental shots of you when you were intoxicated, or impulsive replies to status updates. All of these can be damaging. So how can we develop and nurture the most positive digital identity for ourselves as teachers? We can recognize the power of the community on a global scale, and we can treat the internet as if it's a world of potential teachers, not crazed lunatics. We can harness the reach of the internet before it harnesses us. The change must come from within every single individual. Taking charge can bring us out of our comfort zone of being followers. So let's consider how we portray ourselves online as really showing our leadership potential. Leadership means influencing people to take action. And if we influence people to take action in a timely manner, we're creating change. Isn't that a noble pursuit? Isn't that enough of a reason to begin nurturing your own digital identity? Leadership means recognizing and respecting individual voices, and it means developing a voice. This is going to take some time because our voice is only going to be one in a giant collective, and it's hard to teach how to be both individual and impactful. I met this guy, Will Richardson, at the 21 Century OTF Summer Conference in 2011. And I talked to him about all the wonderful things that we're doing at ODSS. And he asked how he could find my blog. And I said, what blog? And he said, oh, so you're not into sharing? And that one question began me on a whole new journey in digital identification. As global leaders in education, we enjoy the privileges of being Canadian. Aren't we somewhat obliged to share our knowledge in hopes that the whole world might change? Isn't it time we led beyond the borders of our classrooms? First, recognize that teachers have their own personal voice. They have influence and they have a persona. So how do we teach that to our students? The conditions for growth are time, practice, and authenticity in audience. We must take off the training wheels according to student readiness. Readiness can be indicated to us in so many different ways. In a lot of cases, kids are going to vary in all of these sorts of degrees of when they're ready, but they need to be in charge of indicating that to us. I've spent 2 years on Twitter, and I started my blog last summer. One thing that you can do is Google yourself and watch the change that you make in a positive way as you grow your identity online. ODSS used to be known for ODSS Fight Club. And now when you go to it, you find all sorts of creative things. This is an example of a tool that uses your Facebook identity and all of your links to create something there. Don't you think that we could try to be comfortable with all of our vulnerability, even if we've got a fishtail? I really believe that there are tools out there that can help us manage this. Here's another example, Klout. It uses various statistics based on the tools that you input to measure what your influence is. It measures who's listening, and it measures if they take any online action based on what you're publishing, your tweets, your blogs, or even your Facebook likes. In 2011, CBC personality Jian Ghomeshi said, "Privacy is dead. We can only marginally control whatever we do online, and the negative trickle-down is helping to reculture our awareness of how much privacy we do have. My angle is to create a positive digital footprint and help students manage theirs. So let's get ourselves online. If I could recommend anything, it would be to make this issue important to yourself. Here are 3 tools that can give you a broad overview of how you can make a positive footprint: Twitter, Evernote, or join a wiki space." Next, try to get a presence for your content and class interaction that's available to students and parents 24/7. Be aware that a closed community means that you have to monitor this space, but also trust that most online interactions are positive. But be prepared to have meaningful discussions when online trust is broken. Above all, nurture your digital identity, track it, and watch it grow. If you want to reach me, follow me on Twitter at banana29, or check out my blog, threadbarebeauty.wordpress.com. Thanks for listening.